Hi friends, it's Chari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This may look a little different today. Why? Because it is a first official FLOSSTUBE video, at least on my own. I have done them with my sister, and that is so much more fun, and I will continue to do that. But today I wanted to do something a little different because one of my goals in the new year is to share even more things with you here. And my good friend Nicole Spohr, who's also a card maker and a stitcher and has lots of followers on YouTube, has been encouraging me for quite a while this year to make a FLOSSTUBE video, which, if you don't know what FLOSSTUBE is, it's just a video on YouTube where stitchers like myself share their projects and their haul and their works in progress and that sort of thing. So this is my first official FLOSSTUBE video alone. Like I said, I do them with my sister, but I haven't done one since May. We are going to do one this weekend, and I'll share a lot of stuff on there as well, and there may be some repeats. But today is purely just all the things that I finished stitching in 2023. I've been a stitcher since I was a teenager. I have put it away and picked it back up throughout the years, but I probably picked it back up in fall of 2022, so 2023 is my first year of just stitching all year. And I stitch almost every night. Every night I'm home, if we're watching TV, I am usually stitching. And I stitch smaller things, so I have a lot to share. Now, this is by no means all the things I stitched in 2023, just the things I completed. So let's get started. Okay, so the first project, which is the most pieces that I completed, was the hands-on design of Euro Celebrations Season 2. So you can see there's one for every month, and I completed them all except for October, and I am this close to finishing October. But I did my colors differently. I used a color conversion from Fat Quarter Shop that is all color and cotton floss. So I bought the floss pack, and then they give you a sheet that tells you what the conversions are for every month. So as I said, I completed almost all of those. January is already on a little board with some batting. I will be finishing them all off like this. This is the only one I've done. I do want to put like rickrack around. I think a bow at the top with maybe a decorative pin, and come up with some sort of panel that these can be taken on and off every month. So this is the only one that's on a board, and that is my goal this year, is to finish them so that I can put them probably above my calendar and change them out month to month. And the fabric I am using is a Aida. It's a 14 count Aida, and the color is Nougat. And I'm not really sure about the brand, but if you really want to know, please leave me a comment and I will find that out. So I finished January. Then we also have February. This is March. I did change out the thread for the cauldron. I had seen online someone was disappointed that there wasn't enough contrast between the cauldron and the clovers. So I changed this out to a color and cotton color that is actually called cauldron. So that works out pretty well. Then we have April, May, June, July, August, September, which has not been ironed. Like I said, October is not completely finished. I'll actually, even though I wasn't going to share whips, it is almost done. I have just a bit more to do, but it's pretty close. Then there's November and December, which I just love these cute little houses. I think they're so adorable. So that was a year of celebration from hands-on design. This is season 2. Now I did also start season, well, I shouldn't say season 1. It was the first version of that. And I have a few of those finished. Again, I finished off January. Here's February. Let me search through here. And then I also completed March and April. And then I kind of quit. This wasn't, I don't hate it. I just didn't like it as much as the other one. And I got into spring and there were other things I wanted to stitch, and these are what just sort of fell to the wayside. This is, however, the first project I ever tried Lugana on, and I will say that it was a challenge, but I stuck with it, and I actually like stitching on Lugana now, which you'll see in some of my other projects. Here's another little tiny one that I finished too while we're talking about tiny little things. This was a free pattern actually from Stitching Cabin, but I only stitched January. I didn't really get excited about February, I think because it didn't really speak to me as being February. It was still kind of blues and stuff, and there were no hearts, which to me would be a February stitch. So I just have this little one. I don't know if I'll revisit them or not, but he's really cute. Look how tiny he is. I love that cute little snowman. I just think it turned out super cute. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this guy, but he was one of my finished stitches for 2020. Now I did want to do the Little Sheep Virtues sort of as a monthly stitch as well, because there are 12 of them. I didn't get all of those done, and we'll get back to those in 2024, but I did get Hope, which is number 1, done. Again, this is me finishing it on a board. This is the only one, and I want to do a board where I can change them out monthly. So all of these kind of monthly ones I'm showing you here are the first. I also completed number 2, which was Love, and number 3 and 4, which is Peace and Courage. And that is where I got to on these. I did start the 5th one, but I did not complete it yet. So I will be getting back to my Sheep Virtues in the coming year. And actually, I did do the 5th Sheep Virtue, which is Faith. I actually found this later. So I had to pop this in the video. I do have some smalls that I stitched. Now these are the 9 patch. They are by month. I believe this is August and this one is March, but these are the only 2 I have done. These were really quick stitches. I really love the bee one on the hive fabric. I think that's fun. And then I have another bee stitch that I will share. These are from Primrose Cottage, which is this one that says I would rather be stitching. This is also from Primrose Cottage on that Berkshire Hive Ada. This is also 14 count. I'm not very good about remembering to tell you things. I'm new here, so if I forget something, please let me know if you really want to know about something. On the bee theme, while we're here, I did have a very big finish, which is the Hive Rules. And I think I started this one in 2022, but I did finish it in 2023. And it's a long one. I did take out a section that I believe was up here somewhere that said be nice or buzz off or mind your own beeswax or something along those lines. I don't really remember, but the piece that I purchased that I want to mount this on was a little shorter than it would have been finished with that, so I just left that one out. It was my least favorite of the little sayings in this big piece, so I do need to finish this one and put it somewhere in my house. I do not always have a plan for all of these. I just like to stitch, and I was on a bee kick, and I like stitching them all on this same fabric because I just think it looks really cool and kind of ties them all together. So speaking of some smalls from Primrose Cottage, I also stitched up these 2 little stamps, Sweetheart and Be Mine. I I believe I have the third one that says February 14th. I'm not sure what I want to do with these, make them into tiny little pillows or something. I've only ever made one pillow, which I will show you here towards the end. But I think these would be easy too. This is an opalescent, very pale pink 14 count Aida. You can probably see the shimmer a little bit, but it's very pale pink. I kind of wish that it looked a little more pink, but that's okay. They were fun little stitches to do. Here's a winter stitch. This is from Emily Call's Stitching. I stitched this on some gray 14 count Aida. This was a fun stitch with my group of stitchy friends. We all stitched it together this past winter and it was a lot of fun, and I think I want to change or turn this into a pillow as well. So I guess I have some pillow finishing to do in the near future. Here's another Valentine's stitch I did last year. This was a free chart from Silver Creek Samplers. I stitched this on like a oatmeal Aida, and it was really quick and a lot of fun. I did add the tiny button to dot the I. That was not part of the chart, and it fits perfectly in this little frame that I got from Hobby Lobby and painted. I think you're supposed to put something on this side, but I like it kind of down in there. And actually, it's not even glued in. Let's see if I can pop it out, maybe. Push it from the back side. I stitched another one that fits in there, and I just popped this one on top of it. This one I finished last year, so do everything in love. So this one's about ready to come back out into my decor for this year. I do have a couple projects that were free charts. This is Create Every Day by Teresa Kogut, and I stitched this on 28 count dust glue gunnet, which I love. I want to stitch everything on this. I picked my own colors for this project, and I believe that I shared those on my Instagram. And then another free chart that I did is this Do What You Love stitch. This is a free chart from Heart and Hand. I stitched this on some 28 count Magana as well in some of the same colors. I added a couple more, so I did my own color conversion. This was a fun little stitch we did for Nicole's birthday, so the details about my colors are actually on our stitching Facebook page. And I just finished this onto a little paddle from Hobby Lobby. I actually bought these with this in mind, and I had it for a while. I will say that this paddle was for meant for food type things, I think, so it kind of had oil on it. I washed it with soap and water, made sure it was nice and dry, and then I sealed it with a matte finish sealant so that it did not get any oil on my stitch. But I think this turned out really cute. I do need to like find what I want to do with a little bow and then figure out a place to hang this in my craft room. So this project was a stitch along with Nicole Spore this year, and I finished it off on a board from Hobby Lobby. This one I actually stitched on a 16 count Aida. I think it was called Hot Cocoa. And this is with sulky thread, which is on a spool, and you only need one thread. And actually, I really liked stitching on the 16 with that. It worked really well. Now, the same colors of threads were in this pattern as well. This is also from Hands On Design, and I stitched this one on some 16 count chalkboard black. And I have to say that the sulky thread was much easier for me to stitch on the 16 count. So kind of gave me some practice on the 16 count, and I wasn't quite as frustrated. So I need to finish this particular one up, probably into a little pillow. The example on the pattern has some fabric down here and some buttons, and I actually do have the buttons that spell out the word hop. So I need to finish this one in the coming year for Easter. But this one's already finished, and I put it on a little easel on top of my refrigerator for Easter. It was super cute. Next I have one of the Mad for Plaid patterns from Hands On Design. I only finished spring. I did start autumn, but I didn't finish it. So again, this is a series I will need to get back to, but it goes on this, on the edge box that you can put little things in. I actually made the little strawberries, did a little sewing, made strawberries, but it will pop off because there's a magnet. So I have a magnet that is sandwiched between the stitch piece and the board on the back. And then I can just put this on here, line it up where I want it, and then the other magnet they're strong, so they go through the board. So I need to get back to the others, but I really like how the spring one turned out. I think it's really cute. So for some patriotic stitching, I stitched this America stitch. This is from Waxy Moon Designs, and there's actually 2 patterns in the pattern book. I do want to stitch this one too. I did change this one a little bit. I wanted it to be a little shorter to fit on this paddle that I had. So instead of back stitching the words preserving liberty since 1776, I simply put 1776 in here, and you can see that I did change the font a bit, just kind of made that up myself, and I added some big stars in here. So these big stars were these 2 big stars, and I just pulled them in, and these 2 stars were the ones above and below America. So I just did not do these, pulled the 2 big stars in, and then stitched the 1776 to make it look the way I wanted. I also changed the stitch star to a button star, which I think is really cute. I finished it off on a board with some rickrack and some fabric. You can see how it's layered. And then this board that it's on was from the Target dollar section, and I just stained it with some distress ink. I just rubbed the pad right on there, and then I sealed it, and I think it turned out really cute. I do need to do like a bow at the top or something. I just had not quite figured that out. In addition to this, I did stitch some smalls like the little Valentine ones you saw earlier. This is Land That I Love and Established 1776. These are from Primrose Cottage. There is a 3rd one as well that I will be stitching hopefully this year, and then I'll figure out what to do with these and incorporate them into my patriotic decor. But I really love how this one turned out, and I can't wait to stitch the row of houses this coming year. Here's another little patriotic stitch. This was my first time using 25 count Lugana. It was kind of fun to stitch this little small stitch on 25 count. It made it a little bit bigger. It does have a button that goes with it because this was a chart where if you bought the button, you get the chart for free. So I have this cute little beehive button that will go on here that goes right in this area as well. I bought a bunch of those little sheep that you buy the button and you get the chart for free from Shepherd's Bush, and I think it was really fun to stitch that. I thought, yes, here's, I was like, I don't remember the Stormy Night, so you can see it's got some pattern printed on it, so the back side's not printed. And I have another patriotic one that I'll probably do on this same fabric. And while we're still on the patriotic train, I did stitch, this is 4th of July, one of the Mad for Plaid series of patterns from Hands On Design. I stitched that on 14 count chalkboard black Ada, and then I also stitched this, which is from Cherry Hill Stitchery. This is Red, White, and Bloom. Again, this was when I was still trying to love some Lugana, and it was a test of my patience, but I stuck with it. I think it turned out super cute. Not sure what I'm going to do with it just yet, but this was also stitched along with Nicole. She did this pattern combined with another one, and really you could just stitch any patriotic thing you wanted. So I did just the Red, White, and Bloom. So this next project, I'm gonna have to insert a picture because I don't have the finished project anymore because I sent it out to a friend. But it is Beach Please from Hands On Design, and I made this thing that's in the top corner. I stitched 9 of them on perforated paper and put them in a little shadow box, and it turned out really cute, and she loved it. And I kind of want to stitch these again maybe this year, make like a long thing, or maybe do the same thing and put it in my house because they turned out really cute. I did do a Little House Needleworks. I have a couple of these petite patterns. This is the first one I've started. This is Pumpkin Farm. This is on a 32 count. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to go and look up the fabric for sure, but I'll put that information on the screen. And I used cherry cobbler for the barn. It looked a little darker here, but I did check, and this is the called for color. So I used the called for Classic Colorworks on this. This being 32, it's a little bit smaller, so it was kind of a challenge for me, but I persevered and I finished it. And hopefully, just like my first project on Lugana, hopefully this will get me a little more comfortable with smaller counts so that I feel like I have some variety in my choices. So now I was going to move on to some Halloween stitches and fall stitches, and this is really where I got distracted with not finishing my monthly type stuff that I started at the beginning of the year. This was a stitch along with Nicole Spore, and it is called Flying Lessons. And I actually used a piece of fabric I already had. This is Hot Cocoa, I believe, 16 count Ada. I had stitched the Salem Sisters Apothecary on this, so this was left over from that. And then I just picked my own colors, my own DNC colors, so it is different than the chart. And then it's finished on this sign from 141 Design Company that Chantel designed for this project. And I stained mine with distress ink again, and then I very carefully painted the etched line that she had. I embellished with some Tim Holtz Ideology pieces. This does hang on a post. The post is in the garage right now and it's too big to show on camera, so I will insert a picture of what the finished piece actually looked like hanging on the post because I did decorate it. Moving on to more Halloween projects. This is Costume Party by Hands On Design. This is on a gray, I'm pretty sure this is 28 count Lugana. I don't have it. And I'm not very good about writing stuff down. Maybe that's a goal for the new year as well, to write stuff down. But I think this was super cute. I love stitching this and all the little pumpkins and the faces. The jar full of eyeballs is really funny. I do have another hands-on design thing I finished this year, which is this little trick or treat. There are 3 in this pattern, and I finished Toil and Trouble last year, so this is the one I finished this year. And then I do have a good start on Hocus Pocus, so hopefully I can finish that one this coming Halloween. Here is a hands-on design stitch that I completed called Pick Your Pumpkin Patchwork. It's halfway finished. I have it on a board with some batting. I did buy the paddle or board that was designed for this stitch from 141 Design Company, so I just need to figure out some fabric and some rickrack. I did stain this one with distress ink like I did before, and then I sealed it with a matte finish clear sealant. And I believe this one, I think I stitched it on a 32 count Lugana. It's got some that I believe is Stormy Night. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Again, I'm not great about keeping track of all the details of my stitches. So if there's one you have a particular question about, please leave a comment and I will be happy to investigate my supplies and figure out what I stitch things on. So another one that I really enjoyed stitching were some patterns from this Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee book. I bought this when we went to Color and Cotton, and I just think it is adorably cute. So I did do a few of these. They haven't been made into anything yet. So here is the little witch, which she has a really fun name if I remember correctly. Oh, no, she doesn't. That one's just called Pumpkin Brew. I think I was thinking of another one in this book that had a name. Oh, yes, I'll show you that one in a minute. That had a fun name. And then here is the Trick or Treat one, which is also on the front cover. Now this one, I didn't like the bird quite as much, and I haven't actually finished this one, but I'll show it to you anyway because it's on this piece of fabric with everything else. I believe this is 28 count Lugana that's wheat, is the color wheat. So I'm just stitching the wheelbarrow with the stack of pumpkins. And then I think I'm going to take the moon and move it over here. So that one's not actually finished, but there are two others on this piece that are finished. This is Broomhilda. She's the one with the fun name that I couldn't remember. And then this one is actually part of a larger stitch, but I just liked the ghost. So actually what I did was I stitched the ghost with his little bat balloon, and then I took this big pumpkin, I'm sorry, there's glare, this big pumpkin from this design, because I'm not a big cat person, so I'm not going to stitch this. But I took this big pumpkin and put it where the bee is so that the ghost looks like it's still sitting on something. And I thought it turned out really cute. And then I added a few more stars to fill in. And then finally I have some Christmas stitches to share. This one is called, I think it's Belle of the Ball. Yes, Belle of the Ball, which I didn't print out. It was a PDF. I didn't print out the finished one. This is from the Jingle Ball, but I loved this pattern. It came in the Bauble book. And I have to admit, this was the only reason I bought the Bauble book, is because I love this pattern. I did change the colors a little bit. It was supposed to be 2 greens, and I made it this pretty teal color, which is Wintertide. So here are, excuse me for clearing my throat, here are the colors it's supposed to be, minus Wintertide. So I traded out Yuletide for Wintertide, basically. I did go in, and when it was like a leaf, I made sure I used a green versus the Wintertide, but I think it turned out so pretty, and I want to stitch this a couple more times because I love it so much. So speaking of the Jingle Ball and the Bauble book, I did decide to stitch another one out of that book, which is this really cute deer. It's going to be a late Christmas present for someone who I know will just love it. And I used all the colors that I called for, and this fabric is mint. I know it's the color. The tag is still on here somewhere. Here we go. It is 28 count Lugana even weave that is mint from Fiber on a Whim, which I got a pretty big piece, and I'm looking forward to stitching some more things on it because I think it's really pretty. And then I did a lot of Christmas stitches and finishing. So this is Oh Christmas 3 by Hands On Design. This is stitched on the same 28 count Dusk Lugana by Picture This Plus. I did change out the color for the words to Jolly Suit by Color and Cotton, which I unfortunately don't think is available anymore. Sadly, it was limited edition, and I think it turned out so pretty. I love the variation in the reds. So I stitched these first on my piece of Dusk Lugana, and then I stitched this piece, which is Pierre Noel, and I switched out the red in his coat to Jolly Suit because it's Santa's Jolly Suit, obviously. And then for the words, I used the Winter Tide. So this was the first time I used the Winter Tide, which is the same one I used in the Belle of the Ball. So you can see why these are all matchy-matchy. And these were all on the same piece. And then I had like a long rectangle left on my piece of fabric, which is kind of this void here. So I stitched this pattern from Hands On Design, which is the Holly Jolly Tree Company. And then I created a pillow. And this is my first pillow. I was slightly stressed about it, but it turned out pretty good, I think. I love this cute little tree fabric. And then I just did a polka dot on the back, and I ordered some little labels. These are just iron-on labels. I got them on Etsy, and I like that they're small. I even use them on the backs of my ornaments, which I guess I forgot to show you the back of my ornaments. So yeah, I stitched all 5 of these on one piece of fabric. And I just think that they all turned out so adorable. And while we're on the hands-on design train, I also stitched this, which is a classic Christmas. And I just put it on this board that is from Hobby Lobby. I think that this might be how I finish off my sheep too that I showed you earlier. But I just put it on a board with some batting, a piece of fabric. I actually put some batting under this piece of fabric. This is the same fabric I used for the back of my circle ornaments. And then just a ribbon at the top, and I just glued that on there. And for this one, it is stitched on 28 count Lugana. The color is called Ale, which I had bought. Not sure what I was going to use it for, but I liked the color. It's kind of a dirty, got a green tint to it. And I just picked out my own colors. I knew I needed 2 greens and 2 reds, a dark gray or brown, and a cream color. And I just pulled floss from my stash for this, and I think it turned out really cute on that ale colored fabric. So I'm really happy with my Christmas finishes that I did. I think they're really cute, and I have to say this is the most I've finished anything. So like I said, I really need to finish, and you can tell from this video I have a lot more things that I need to finish, fully finish. So hopefully I can get to that in 2024. Okay, so that was a lot. The grand total, after I found 2 more when I went to go stitch last night, and so I popped them in the video. The grand total is 59. I kind of wish I had completed October so that I could say it was a nice round 60, but here we are. 59 is pretty impressive in my opinion. And I stitched even more than that because I started some things that I haven't finished yet. So 59 stitches, 12 of those were fully finished. As you saw, a couple of them were kind of halfway finished. They just need some fabric and some love. But I look forward to finishing all those projects up in 2024. I really had a lot of fun during the holidays finishing my ornaments and stuff. So hopefully I can, take a day and finish up some projects. Really, those 12 months from the season of celebration, I think those would be pretty easy to finish up once I figure out kind of where I want to mount them or what I want to put them on, because then all the finishes will be very similar and I won't have to think that part through. So I look forward to doing those things. Maybe that will lead to some more videos on this channel. I will be sure to share and hopefully post other floss tube videos as well, especially when I do them with my sister too, because it is much more entertaining, the two of us together, honestly. And her style is much different than mine. She likes to stitch like big projects with full coverage, and that is just not me. So it's kind of fun to do those together because you see two very different styles of stitching. So a big thank you to my friends, especially Nicole, who have encouraged me to make a video and share all the things that I've been stitching. I do share it with them so they know that I've done a lot of work. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you just have some comments, I'd love to read them and hear from you. I don't get a lot of comments on some of my other videos, so it's great to interact. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.